Hello and welcome to Philosothoughts. Today we're going to dive into the seemingly absurd world of a washed-up sitcom star, a talking horse, to confront one of the most profound and painful questions of human existence, the search for meaning. We're talking, of course, about BoJack Horseman. The title of our discussion today is BoJack Horseman and the Search for Meaning. This isn't just a critique of a cartoon, it's a reflection on a character who, despite having everything, fame, fortune, and a beautiful home in the Hollywood Hills, is completely and utterly empty. BoJack's journey is a haunting philosophical exploration of how we try to fill the voids in our lives with fleeting pleasures, and what happens when we finally run out of distractions. The existential crisis of the star. At its core, BoJack Horseman is a profound and unsparing look at an existential crisis. The core tenet of existentialism as a philosophy is that we are born into a world without inherent meaning. It is a blank canvas, and it is up to us, through our choices and actions, to create our own purpose. BoJack, however, is a man, or horse, who has failed spectacularly at this task. He has pursued every form of external validation, fame, wealth, alcohol, drugs, casual sex, and has found that none of it provides a lasting sense of purpose or solid foundation for his life. His crisis is rooted in the mistaken belief that happiness is something to be achieved, a destination to be reached. He constantly chases the fleeting feeling of being on top, of being loved, of being relevant. But the moment the applause stops, he's left with nothing but the crushing silence of his own mind. From the outside, he has the perfect Hollywood life, a mansion in the hills, a legacy from his famous sitcom, and a lifestyle of excess. But from the inside, his life is a desolate landscape of unfulfilled desires and deep-seated misery. He's a walking, breathing testament to the idea that you can't outrun your own emptiness. Philosophically, BoJack's struggle can be understood through the lens of Jean-Paul Sartre's concept of bad faith. Bad faith is the act of a person giving up their freedom to create their own meaning by pretending to be an object defined by external forces, like a celebrity or a TV star. BoJack constantly uses his past fame as an excuse for his present failures, claiming he can't be a good person because he's a star. This is his way of avoiding the responsibility of his choices. He is a tragic hero in the classic sense. His inability to find meaning is a direct consequence of his inability to be a good person, and his own self-destructive nature is his fatal flaw. He's constantly seeking external validation as a substitute for internal peace, and he is perpetually disappointed because no external force can ever fill an internal void. The loneliness of the self-destructive. BoJack's pursuit of meaning is made all the more painful by his profound and self-imposed loneliness. He's surrounded by people who genuinely care about him, from his agent, Princess Carolyn, to his loyal friend Todd, and his intellectual soulmate, Diane. And yet, he is perpetually in a state of self-imposed isolation. He uses a razor-sharp wit and a cynical worldview as a shield, a way to keep people at a safe distance so they can't see the broken, vulnerable person underneath.
This behavior, while seemingly a form of protection, is actually a tragic psychological defense mechanism. His cruelty and sarcasm are not just random acts, they are a test. He pushes people away, waiting to see who will stay and prove his cynical worldview wrong. But in doing so, he makes it impossible for anyone to ever truly get close enough to prove it wrong. His loneliness is a self-fulfilling prophecy, fueled by a deeply ingrained belief that he is fundamentally unlovable. this loneliness is made even more acute by a core conflict in his life, the struggle between authenticity and performance. For years, BoJack was paid to be a lovable, fun-loving horse on TV. He became so good at playing this role that he lost track of who he was when the cameras were off. His life is a perpetual stage, and every interaction, even with his closest friends, feels like a performance. He doesn't know how to be vulnerable because he doesn't even know what his true, authentic self looks like. This inauthenticity is the ultimate barrier to intimacy. He craves connection but sabotages every meaningful relationship he has, not just because he's afraid of being hurt, but because he's terrified of having his act seen through. The profound tragedy of his loneliness is that it stems from a crisis of identity. He can't connect with others because he is disconnected from himself. The illusion of happiness, fame as a false prophet. BoJack's existential crisis is not just a personal one, it's a searing critique of the celebrity-obsessed culture we live in. He has lived his entire life believing that fame is a false prophet, a powerful illusion that promises lasting happiness and purpose, but delivers only a temporary, intoxicating high. He treats fame like a religion, sacrificing his relationships and his well-being in its pursuit, always hoping that this time the worship of his audience will finally fill the void he feels inside. The show, however, proves this to be a lie with relentless honesty. Every time BoJack achieves a new level of success, whether it's starring in a new movie like Secretarian or a new TV show, he gets a brief moment of fleeting satisfaction before the familiar emptiness returns. This is a perfect example of the hedonic treadmill, a psychological concept where no matter how much success or fortune one accumulates, their baseline level of happiness remains the same. The chase is the only thing that gives him a sense of purpose, but the moment he catches his goal, he's left with nothing but the crushing silence of his own mind. This incessant pursuit of external validation is also a form of inauthenticity. BoJack uses his public persona as a crutch, believing that if he is a beloved TV star, he must be inherently a good person. This allows him to avoid the hard work of genuine self-reflection and personal growth. He is perpetually trying to replicate a past he can't regain, and his failures are cyclical, proving that no amount of fame can truly fill an empty soul. He is a living testament to the idea that you can't buy, earn, or perform your way to a meaningful life. Furthermore, fame isolates him in a bubble, reinforcing his inability to connect with reality. He doesn't have to deal with the consequences of his actions in the same way an ordinary person does. The world prevents him from learning crucial lessons and growing as a person. BoJack's fame not only fails to make him happy, it becomes an active obstacle to the only thing that could, in fact, bring him peace: the difficult work of becoming a better person. The show teaches us that fame isn't just useless, it is actively destructive when used to avoid the truth about who we are.
The pain of the past, trauma as a guiding compass. To truly understand why BoJack is so determined to chase fleeting distractions, we must look to his past. His destructive behavior isn't random. It's a direct consequence of a deeply traumatic childhood. His abusive parents, Beatrice and Butterscotch, instilled in him a profound sense of self-loathing and a fear of genuine connection. He was taught, implicitly and explicitly, that love is conditional and that he was fundamentally unworthy of it. This unhealed trauma acts as a kind of negative guiding compass. It doesn't just inform his present, it actively dictates his choices and relationships. He views every interaction through the lens of his past, expecting betrayal and disappointment, and unconsciously creating situations that confirm those expectations. His friendships become twisted attempts to reenact the unhealthy dynamics of his childhood. He constantly seeks a mother figure in Princess Carolyn, a source of uncritical affection in Todd, and intellectual validation in Diane, all of which are desperate attempts to fill the void left by his parents. But because these relationships are built on the foundation of his unhealed pain, he is doomed to sabotage them. The show demonstrates that trauma is often generational.
BoJack inherited his mother's misery, which she inherited from her own mother, and so on. This adds a tragic, fatalistic layer to his story, suggesting that some people are born into a legacy of pain that is incredibly difficult to escape. He is constantly trying to run from this legacy, but his unhealed trauma keeps pulling him back into the same destructive patterns. His greatest challenge isn't finding a new job or a new girlfriend. It's learning how to be a person who is capable of healing and, more importantly, a person who is worthy of love and connection. He is trapped by his past, and his journey is a painful, slow realization that the only way to be free is to stop running and finally face the source of his pain. The paradox of fleeting joy. BoJack's life is often a desolate landscape of self-destruction and misery, but it is not a continuous state of pure suffering. Scattered throughout his journey are moments of genuine joy, connection, and peaceful normalcy. He has brief, fleeting moments of happiness with his friends, moments where he feels a true sense of accomplishment, and even fleeting glimpses of what a normal, healthy life might feel like. But these moments are always just that, fleeting. This is a crucial paradox of his character. His tragedy is not that he is incapable of happiness, but that he is incapable of holding on to it. He is a man who actively and often subconsciously sabotages his own joy. He will find a stable relationship only to destroy it with an impulsive lie. He will feel a sense of accomplishment on a set only to ruin it with a drunken tirade. His moments of joy are not fake, but they are fragile, because they are constantly under assault from his own deep-seated belief that he doesn't deserve them. His happiness is a form of cognitive dissonance. It clashes with his core identity as a miserable, unlovable fraud.
Philosophically, this behavior is a manifestation of his desperate need for control. In a world where he was a helpless child at the mercy of his parents and of fate, his only way to assert control is to be the one to end his own joy. He would rather be the one to ruin a good thing than have it taken away from him by an unpredictable world. He is choosing the predictable pain of his trauma over the terrifying vulnerability of happiness. This is a profound and heartbreaking reflection on the nature of self-sabotage. It teaches us that sometimes our greatest enemy is not an external force, but the part of ourselves that is terrified of being happy. BoJack's fear of loss is so great that he'd rather push everything away himself than risk having it taken from him. The moments of fleeting joy in the show are not just brief reprieves from the pain, they are a tragic reminder of what BoJack is constantly sacrificing in his desperate, unconscious quest to prove his own unworthiness. The final reflection, a simple, difficult truth. BoJack Horseman's journey is a painful and often frustrating one because he is looking for the answers in all the wrong places. He believes that happiness is a destination to be reached, a feeling to be bought, and a problem to be solved. But the show, in its final, heartbreaking moments, offers a simpler, far more difficult truth. The search for meaning is not a quest for a grand prize. It is the slow, continuous work of building a better life, one choice at a time. The show rejects the very idea of a cinematic hero's journey. Instead of a triumphant final act, we get a quiet understanding. Meaning isn't found in the grand gestures, in the bright lights, or in the thunderous applause. It's found in the small, consistent acts of being a good person. It's found in showing up for your friends, taking responsibility for your mistakes, and putting in the difficult work to become a little bit better one day at a time. The show is a powerful reminder that we don't have to be a star to find meaning. We just have to be human. BoJack's story is a beautiful and brutal mirror. He is a walking symbol of the deep-seated fear we all have that we are fundamentally unlovable and that our failures are a reflection of who we are. But the show's final, poignant message is that even after a life of profound mistakes, it's never too late to try again. BoJack's final walk into the night is not a grand victory, but a quiet, hopeful step towards a future where he might finally learn to stop running from himself.
The only way to find peace, the show tells us, is to finally and consistently do the work. What small, meaningful actions are you taking to build a life you're proud of? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. If you found value in this deep dive into the shadows of fame, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Philothoughts for more reflections on the stories that shape us, and share this video with a friend who needs a little reminder that it's okay to just be a person. Until next time, stay curious and keep thinking.